Good morning. We are starting a little bit early today because I have some stuff going on. I have a presentation coming up, as you can tell, and this is actually a presentation in person. I'll talk more about that in a second, why we'll be fine and safe during this time. And most of all, we're going to talk about 2021. This year is coming up to an end very, very soon, and I'm excited to chat about what might happen in 2021. Obviously, we never know what exactly is going to happen. We didn't expect 2020 to be like this, but we can still make some predictions, we can plan ahead, we can have expectations, and we can be better prepared for what might be to come. So thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate you. If you are here live, say hello to your friends. If you are also watching the replay, hit me up with a hashtag team replay in the comment section. Thank you again, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. My name is Pat Flynn, here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. Let's have some fun. Let's do this.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, I think we're talking about the SpongeBob Song in the chat right now, which is kind of funny. Cool. Sweet. All right, so let's talk 2021. We are coming up to the end of the year, of course, and I hope that you all and your families have a safe and happy holiday for sure. But during this time is a great time to plan for 2021. And actually, within the past couple weeks, we've been doing a lot of conversation about who we might want to be, our goals moving forward, but we haven't made any specific predictions, if you will, about certain elements within entrepreneurship that I'd love to just talk about with you today, and maybe we can jam together. For those of you live, we can come up with some different topics that we might be able to discuss and have some fun with. But really, I think the biggest thing to understand is that maybe this year has really put the bow on the fact that, we never know what's going to happen. But this also expresses how important it is to, number one, build a foundation, something where you might have an audience and perhaps a side business in case you might not have that secure job that you thought you did. It takes me back to 2008, of course, when I got laid off and I thought I had a secure job. And of course, the recession happened during that time, the Great Recession, and I was let go as a result. And here we are again, 12 years later, and we're in another kind of sort of situation where people are losing their jobs. And, it is those who did have some sort of side gig who maybe had gone full time with it. In fact, I know a lot of people who use this time to really dedicate to actually building full force their side gig into something full time, to something that would at least keep them afloat during this time. I also know some people who, whether or not they got laid off or who didn't get laid off, who used this time to create opportunity. I think that's the first and big lesson, is that no matter what happens, no matter what gets thrown at us, there will always be some positive opportunities that can come out. Even though it might not seem like that, I remember what it felt like in 2008 to have gotten laid off. It didn't feel good at all, and it was very difficult to stay in that positive mindset of, okay, well, maybe this is a good thing. It's like, it's easy to say that, but when you look back, or actually when you're in that situation, it's like, you don't really want to hear that, because you miss the thing that has been gone or lost, or that you lost, and there was nothing I wanted to do but get my architecture job back. But thankfully, I was not able to, and even after calling around, even after offering resumes to different companies, I still was not able to land an architecture job. And I'm so thankful for that, because when my mindset shift from woe is me to whoa, what do we have here as an opportunity, things started to change for sure. And it didn't happen out of nowhere. It didn't happen out of thin air. It happened as a result of getting to be involved in a community. So I'm talking namely about the Internet Business Mastery community, which was the podcast that I found in 2008. That was really inspiring, where I heard interviews with people who were just like me, but just a few steps ahead. So getting involved in a community, getting some training for something that was a big goal of mine, which was to take this information I had about this architecture business and put it online. And that takes me to the second thing that I think is really important to understand about where things are headed. And here's where we're going to start to actually make some predictions about next year. I predict that as far as businesses go, I think businesses are going to understand more than ever that generating fans and building a community is going to be a significant part of long-term success and financial security. I'm very grateful to have amassed a incredible community, and that's you, especially those of you who are here live with me today, not just since March, since we started this 274 days ago, but since the beginning of the online business journey, once I realized how important connections with other people are, from online in groups to in person in communities. I'm reminded of a time when I spoke at an event. Actually, do you guys want to hear some music in the background before I, like, not just like story time music, but just kind of like a nice little background track, maybe a little Christmassy, get a little bit of a mood going. Today's early, says Elton. Yes, indeed. Andrew says, I'm working hard toward my 2021 goals already. I love that we're all thinking about 2021 already and planning. Now, planning is important, but as we all know, you can have a plan, but as Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So hopefully we can also equip ourselves with the ability to be flexible, to be adaptable, to pivot when needed, and to really pay attention to what is happening and how we might be able to move forward from here. As Michael Hyatt said, and I said this at the very first day, 274 days ago, what does this make possible? That's always a key thing to understand. But yeah, let's get some light music in. I'm going to put on Harris Heller, our favorite streamer, and I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'll show you how I'm getting here just in case you're interested in learning how to do this too. Ooh, there's a NASA space flight going on. Oh, and Pokemon cards. Okay. So anyway, here it is, Harris Heller Christmas special. This is called Stream Beats. I can look up Stream Beats Harris Heller. Stream Beats is a free service that Harris Heller, who is a streamer on Twitch as well as on YouTube, a very prolific YouTube creator as well. He creates these playlists that any one of us can just use this music however we like. He actually produces it for this purpose, which is really cool. So I'm going to play Lo-Fi Christmas. All right, I think it might not be coming through. Hold on. I know how to get it. Sound. There we go. Okay. It should be low enough, but let me know if it is not. But I just want to make sure it doesn't distract, but we can have some fun just chatting over some light music. Yo, Elton. Elton joined SPI Pro. Yes, dude. I'm so stoked that you're involved in that. That's so dope. I'm so happy about that. We got Explanatory Live. We got Bernard, Ryan, Angelina, Sue, Elton, of course, Bernard, Ambrosio, Ryan, Andrew, Dr. Joella, Bill, Coach Mulk. Thank you so much for joining me today. Underdog Journey. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Stream Beats, Harris Heller. Thank you so much for that. You were looking at my screenshots for some reason. I don't know why. But let's continue talking here about community. I think community, as we all know, is very important, but it's going to be massively important in 2021. I think that a lot of us are starving for community and for connection and for the ability to network in places that we can't do that anymore. Speaking about this event that I'm going to, it's called Traffic and Conversion Summit. It's here in San Diego, California. It happens every year. They were going to cancel this year, but they did a fun little transition, a pivot, if you will, to an online event. However, speakers will still be flying to San Diego, joining them on stage that then gets broadcasted to everybody live in their homes or offices. And what's really cool, and I'm really excited about this, and I'll take some pictures and you can follow me on Instagram if you want to see, but apparently for the speakers, number one, it's very safe. There have been numerous meetings about where to go. We're essentially just going to be alone the whole time, except for the one person who puts the mic on us, who's going to have an N95 mask or whatever the number is. And when we get up on stage, there's going to be a wall of people watching on Zoom. So I don't know if you've seen pictures of people like Tony Robbins and others who have spoken for digital conferences, but in a sort of live setting like that. I'm really excited because there's going to be just this wall like of thousands of attendees, but in the comfort of their own home. Bill, thank you so much for the coffee. I appreciate that. I'm going to go grab another one after this. And we'll see what happens, but I'm really excited. And I get to present live on a stage, which is my favorite place to present. But the unfortunate thing about this event, like most events, is that we're not going to have a chance to network. I mean, I'm literally going to be by myself the whole time, from the moment I park my car to the moment I'm on stage to the moment I leave. And typically, events are best for meeting other people in the hallways, for communication with others who you might not have seen in a while, or those who you do see online, but now you see them in person. That's gone, right? So this is why things like SPI Pro, our premium community, you can find that at smartpassiveincome.com/pro, have been massively important, not just for us to continue our business. And, we were able to generate additional income, which is great. And this is monthly recurring income, which we haven't had in the business as of yet until now. But more than that, of course, your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience. And the reason that has performed so well is because people need connection and community right now. So whether this takes the form of having public groups that can support your podcast and your business that are free, that people can join in and be a part of something, make them feel like they belong to something, like they're not alone, right? To bring all of the weirdos together, as I said, I think, what was that, Monday or Tuesday, when we can facilitate the opportunity for our people to meet each other, that is an amazing sort of sense of business insurance for your business and for you and your personal brand if you have one. Or if it's an online premium program, a membership community, maybe hosted in something like Circle. Membership communities are hot right now, are very, very hot, and are very, very needed. So that's something that I predict is going to be in the future for a lot of people, whether you end up joining more communities that are perhaps a little bit more premium, or you end up creating your own and facilitate these interactions between your own audience. So I was speaking earlier about a conference that I went to in 2013. This is called FinCon. It was my second year speaking. And I went there, I can't even remember what the talk was about specifically. Oh, I think it was about first impressions. This is the event where I spoke and I fell on stage on purpose to welcome everybody, essentially. I tripped and then I rewound and then I came back. And the punchline was, you never get a second chance to leave a good first impression. And what was really cool is that talk is still being brought up today, which is really cool. And I always try to do that in my talks, to have something memorable like that. The Back to the Future DeLorean talk, right? So anyway, yo, Joel, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you for that. Welcome to Team Flynn Gold. Welcome. So at this conference, because we were still able to, I set up a little networking event for the audience who happened to also be at this event too, and anybody else who wanted to join, actually. And I rented out a pizza joint. We had pizza and some Caesar salad and some sody pop and some beer and some drinks for people. And we had about 50 to 60 people arrive. And just, I was going around and meeting people and having fun and getting to know people. And at the end of the night, I felt really bad because there was one woman who, at the end of the night, I realized that I didn't even see the entire time. I was just so involved in conversation to conversation, and she must have just been, either maybe more shy or something. I just didn't see her, and I felt bad because sometimes people travel really far to come to these things. And it was interesting because I went up to her and I was like, hey, Jennifer, I'm so sorry that we weren't able to meet and chat. Maybe we can chat later at the event if you're an attendee, but, I'm just wanting to apologize. And she goes, Pat, please don't take offense to this, but I didn't come here to see you. And I was like, okay. And she was like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I love your stuff. I listen to your show every day. But you know what I never get? I never get the opportunity to meet people just like me. Other people, especially other women who are starting businesses. I can't talk about this in person with anybody else. And so I'm just so grateful that you set this up today. Thank you. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's when it really clicked for me, right? That's when it really clicked for me in terms of, oh, this is why community is important. It's actually not about me. Yes, I might be the connector. I might be, the common factor. But on an existential level, as you know, we're all human and we want to connect with other humans. And when we can connect with other humans that are just like us, it is very, very satisfying and fulfilling. And so we as creators, yo, hey Archer, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love that you're laughing that I'm well dressed. For those of you coming in late, I have a presentation a little bit later. in downtown San Diego. Literally no attendees, but it's going to be broadcasted. That's just a nicely set up stage that I'm going to be speaking on later. Gina, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Is pharmacology difficult? Hello. Good to see you. Is it? You tell me. Jaya, welcome in. Daniela. So I got the truth bomb at that time that community is not about me. It's about everybody else. And of course, when you bring everybody else together, it lifts up your brand as a result. Very similar to if you go to a baseball game and your home team hits a grand slam. You're stoked and you're high-fiving, you're hugging, if it's okay, the people around you who are also fans too. And you might not even know their names or who they are or where they came from or anything about them, but you know you have that thing in common and you're both sort of celebrating this win or at least this 4-run moment together called a grand slam. And you most likely aren't even going to be talking to the team, but you do follow them, but it's the commonality between you and other people in that community that really, really bring it home. See, home, first base, second base, third base, home. There we go. Looking very dapper, says Sherry. Thank you so much. Now the formal attire reason is clear. Yes, this is why I am dressed up, because I have a presentation later. And I have to continually say that because number one, it's super weird that I'm dressed up. It actually feels very awkward. I've been in sweatpants for 9 months straight. And here we are, finally. I get to wear jeans for the first time since March, which is really weird. So Jason says, what is your top 3 community platforms? After we answer this question, I'm going to move on to what I think the next prediction is and the thing that we could focus on for 2021. So stick around. And again, thank you so much for the super chats and our new member, Joel. Cool. Kenny, what's up? Good to see you here. Bill. Okay. So top 3 community platforms. I'm very, very, very much in love with a platform called Circle, circle.so. If you want to check it out through our affiliate link, smartpassiveincome.com/circle. Full disclosure, I'm an affiliate. Second full disclosure, I'm also an advisor to the company. I am an advisor. I am typically an advisor for companies that I'm like deathly in love with, who have just helped out with the business so much, and I know can help out my audience as well. That's not to say that's the only platform. I just love it because it's the perfect marriage between Facebook and Slack. And it really keeps the community organized, the conversations organized, and it's just very, very simple and intuitive for new users, and that's very important. Number 2 would be Mighty Networks. I interviewed Gina, the founder, in the beginning of 2020. And if you're interested in that, you can check that out. We also wrote a blog post about the difference between Mighty Networks and Circle. If you're interested, it's on the blog. And that's an amazing platform that I know a lot of people use too. A lot more nuts and bolts, a lot more advanced features, but things that my community doesn't really need, but something that maybe you might be interested in checking out. And then number 3, good old Facebook groups. I still think Facebook groups or things like LinkedIn groups, public groups are still beneficial. If you are a course creator, for example, it might be beneficial to create a Facebook group to support the members of your course if you aren't quite yet ready to start something like a Circle or a Mighty Networks community. Cool. My goal is to ease students' worries for the subject. It's a great goal. Whenever you can make anything more convenient or much more achievable for people, this is why they come. This is what serves them, and your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience, as we all know. Explanatory Live says, I like Circle, and we use it with our clients. Awesome, thank you. All right, so let's talk about next year in terms of content. I think that number 1, content production, content creation is still obviously going to be important. It always has been. But over the years, it's just taken a different course and shape as far as, well, what is working and what is not working. You know, I feel that podcasting continues to just explode. And we are still in the early days of podcasting. I think I heard that, on Spotify, you know, Spotify has dedicated a lot of money and invested a lot of money this year into podcasting. And I think we're going to see the benefits of that for Spotify next year. For example, the Obamas and their Spotify exclusive podcast. Who is it? The ex-royal family. You know, Meghan Markle and Prince starting their own exclusive Spotify podcast as well. The Joe Rogan podcast moving this month from YouTube and Apple to Spotify exclusively. They're sort of taking everybody, it seems. But number one, I'm excited because Spotify can solve a lot of the problems that Apple Podcasts perhaps hadn't yet solved, like findability and a lot of recommended podcasts and things like that. Things that YouTube is really well known for. I'm hoping Spotify gets behind. I think that there's just going to be an explosion of new podcasts next year for sure. But as a result of that, like what we've seen with blogging in the past and with YouTube, the more that people come on a platform, just the more saturated it starts to feel, and the more important it becomes to not just be an early adopter, but to be somebody who creates really amazing stuff. And what's beautiful is that this connects with what we just spoken about, the idea of community. And I think that more and more bigger names are going to podcast, which is great because that's going to bring a lot of new podcast listeners into the space, which we've seen already happen ever since 2015 when Serial came out. The first sort of mainstream podcast, something that was even parodied on SNL. We're going to see more things like that, not parodies on SNL, but just more mainstream type stuff that introduces people to this world of podcasting who then can find our shows as a result. I think we're going to start to see a little bit of saturation in terms of, guests and people, asking others to be on their podcast. And I think that we're going to look and seek new creative ways to use this platform that perhaps we don't even know about yet. This idea of a vlog on YouTube is really interesting, but I haven't yet seen really something so intimate on the podcasting front, like a plog, maybe plog. That sounds super weird, but a little bit more just in your head kind of stuff could be really interesting for next year too. But I do predict that it is going to explode. There's going to be an explosion, especially once things potentially get back to normal of some kind and people can start traveling again and people can start commuting again. What's going to happen? People are going to start firing up those podcasts. And I think there's going to be a sort of roaring 20s, if you will, in many kinds of ways. Once we get back to normal, people are going to be starving for events again. People are going to be starving for, their podcasts and content in that way. I do think video is still going to be on the rise for sure, but I think more and more we're starting to see that the quality of video is starting to become even more important. And that's something definitely to pay attention to for sure. Mario, what's up, my friend? Aloha. Or hola, excuse me. I read that aloha, but hola, aloha. Either way, I appreciate you being here. John Carl says, I prefer seeing real people being interviewed these days. I think you're also going to see this explosion in video podcasts. And the reason why I do air quotes with that is because technically speaking, and maybe because I'm old school, I've been doing this for, over a decade. Back when I started podcasting, there was actually a video category in Apple Podcasts, but it was essentially, it was discontinued. And I once had the #1 video podcast in the world. Yo, Kat, welcome. Thank you so much for being a new member here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That is awesome. So what's really cool is now video podcasting is taking a little bit different of a path, which is let's turn on the cameras while we're doing these interviews, whether it's on Skype or something like Zoom. Squadcast is my preferred interviewing platform, and they're coming out with video very soon. It's in beta right now, and or getting in person with somebody and turning on the camera and making it really, really nicely produced. Either way, I think we're going to see a lot of video podcasts. I don't think it's going to grow as much as audio podcasts will, but I do think that we're going to see more and more of it, of course, for sure, especially as more software starts to get really creative with how to produce these solutions. I think that we're also going to notice that, more and more people are going to be working remotely from home. I think that more and more businesses are going to understand that they can survive being lean. And we saw this in 2008, a lot of businesses having to pull out all the stops and be creative with how they could survive. And coming out of that, realizing that, wow, they can actually save a lot more money than they were before in this sort of new environment post-Great Recession. And now post-pandemic, we're going to see a lot of changes in the workforce and in terms of, where things are headed. But I think a big part of this, I think this was a big reality check for a lot of people. And I think it is those who have been online and are starting their online businesses that are able to keep their head afloat for now and are realizing that it is just such a blessing to have an online business, to be able to do business without having to see people in person, to have something to fall back on if something were to go wrong in a 9-to-5 job, And I think that more and more people are going to be starting businesses, starting to become an entrepreneur next year. And that's really exciting. It's really exciting because I know I can step up and help and serve people during that time. I think that, especially when it comes to helping people get online and especially create content, which is one of my superpowers, I can step up and help. And it's those who provide services and software. I think Bill mentioned that software is going to be a big thing. But I agree with that. But I think in what realm is really the interesting question. Software for what specifically? I think you're right. Software in general is going to become even more prolific. We see, for example, Tesla. Tesla is not a car company. It is a company that produces computers on wheels. And software is a major, major part of their business and their business plan. Software allows for over-the-air updates, which allows me to wake up in the morning and see that my Tesla just gained an additional miles in range. And that is now faster, just through software. The ability for software to help me understand what's wrong with my car and get a fix for it, even potentially over the air. The ability for Tesla to, automate these vehicles and use their, abilities as a software company to create level 5 autonomy one day. There's just so many things in software, which is really cool. So to the mass level like that, or to the level of you potentially creating a software that helps solve a person's problem. And there's a lot of people who are getting into new things. There's a lot of new things that are available that often produce opportunities. There's always, I always have some people say, oh, am I too late starting a business? I'm like, no way, because there's always things that are changing. There's always new opportunities. And I think it was Richard Branson, who said, business opportunities are like buses, right? As soon as one leaves, another one comes. We just have to be in the right spot and keep our eyes open and really consider what it is that we can do to help people, right? Great to have the opportunity to build our own business, as this world has many unknowns, for sure. My not goal, but I do think long-term future, we're going to get a little bit more toward what life once was in terms of how we learned, so educationally, and also businesses and how we do business with each other. And what I mean is, and this is not a 2021 prediction, but perhaps a step toward what might happen, which is the ability for us to get more back to what it was like when we lived in a small town, or even back in the days where, you would have a skill and that's kind of the skill, but now more in a software, more technological sense. And that was helpful for people to get. And then how you learn is you learn through apprenticeship, through working with somebody who has that skill and knowledge, who can then pass that on to you and help you sort of pass it on to somebody else. When it comes to business, I think that having your own specialty and being known for something is going to be really, really important. And I think that if you haven't done so already, really, truly understanding what it is that you are great at, what it is that your superpower is. I had a conversation yesterday with a YouTube consultant because I'm going to be planning to double the amount of subscribers on this channel next year. And we are in the midst of discussing that right now, which is really cool. And, it was very clear, very fortissimo, if you will, that here on YouTube, I do have a specialty, but I haven't owned it here yet. That there are certain buckets that my content does fall into, but I hadn't even realized that yet. And the more that we can understand what these buckets of content are, the more likely it is that I can actually create better content that specifically fit into those buckets that can better help the audience, right? Love, love, love the purple, pink cover board corner. Speaking to the ladies, thank you. Appreciate that. We do have some blue on this side too. I don't know if you could see that, but I'm liking the purple tint and the pink with the hoverboard, and that's of course a Back to the Future thing. What's up, Tim? Good to see you. Ryan, Stephanie, Makeup by Antonica. You guys caught the second secret word, which has been a difficult one to include this week for sure, but I'm very grateful that I can sort of force it in there sometimes. And I did get the other secret word in earlier, and that would actually has been a lot easier than I thought, because we've been, maybe subconsciously, I made all the topics this week about things that are very much about humans and us as people and psychologically, and that's where existential can really come into play. Anyway, what a fortunate use of fortissimo. Yes. So anyway, conversation with this YouTube creator, really honing in on, okay, well, what do you want your videos to become known for? Because right now, as you might know, well, the live streams are sort of separate, but A lot of my videos are sort of all over the place, and people who follow me because I have a lot of great podcast creation stuff don't quite understand why they need to follow some of my other stuff, and vice versa. So trying to fit that all together and really go full on with, okay, this is where my lanes are. I think that's going to help us for sure. And definitely getting better with the titles and thumbnails and the hooks and whatnot. I definitely think YouTube and live streaming specifically is going to be a big wave next year too. As more and more conferences aren't able to happen, as more and more people are looking to connect in real time with people. It's weird because I know that Periscope is being decommissioned or sunset, which is the Twitter version of YouTube Live, but I think it just can't compete. I think Twitch and YouTube Live are going to take the game, and I think that we're going to see a huge surge in YouTube Live, potentially a lot of creators from Twitch even moving over. And the reason is because Twitch is becoming a little bit of a nuisance in terms of the way they treat their creators, the rules that they're creating. They've made some announcements recently about certain things that are bannable, which is brought the Twitch community into a little bit of an uproar. And I think that YouTube is getting it. They're starting to get it right, and they're starting to add a lot of cool, fun things related to the interactive capabilities. The things that you and I already experienced are getting better and better. And I really think that I really think that live streaming is going to be a major component in content creation next year for people. Does this mean you have to do it? Not necessarily, but it's interesting. I am getting involved in a brand new space, and I found that live streaming has been an important part of this person's growth. I'm talking about a Pokemon trading card game creator online who's just exploded. He started his channel essentially exactly 1 year ago, and he's almost at 200,000 subscribers. And one really interesting thing that he does during his live streams, I'm talking about, his name is Nick from PokeRev, and I've been studying him. And I've been a part of his community. I'm actually a moderator in his live chat, so I get to see firsthand what it's like in there. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm actually experimenting with a Pokemon trading card game channel myself in 2021 to become sort of an experimental place to try new things and have some fun. Also, it's connected with my kids. It's also connected to my future goal of, helping to connect with kids and teach them entrepreneurship and stuff. So there is a plan there. It's not just kind of a random thing that I decided to do. It's very calculated for sure. But within this group, he shares his subscriber growth live. He will gain an additional 3,000 to 5,000 subscribers on a single live stream. And he shows these numbers grow in real time. He also creates videos so he goes live Tuesday, Sunday, and 3 days a week. I don't remember exactly which days. But he gets most of his growth on his live streams. And he does produce videos between them, but those videos do less in terms of helping him grow. And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I've noticed the bigger fragmenting after their gain. Anyway, cool. So it's interesting. I've just talked so much about that channel. If you are wanting to follow along in that journey, you can actually follow the channel. I have not posted a video there yet, although there's a trailer that's being created right now, which I'm really excited about, to hopefully get some people excited in the community that I'm trying to get in before the videos start coming in January. But you can see the channel at Deep Pocket Monster. So Pocket Monster for Pokemon. So Deep Pocket Monster. Yo, 88 viewers in the house. Thank you so much. For those of you coming in, thank you. I am dressed up because I'm going to a conference later where I'll be speaking on stage in front of a giant screen of people watching on Zoom. So I'm really excited about that. April says, I know an influencer named Jorge who lives in California. He's a huge Pokemon fan. Let me know if you'd like me to get you connected. That's awesome, Jorge. April, yeah, for sure. April, also, it's just great to see you here. I haven't seen you here in a while. I know the time changes have been something that have not really helped, but I hope you are well, and I'm so grateful to see your name here today. Phyllis, my grandson would be thrilled if I changed my channel over to Minecraft or Roblox. I think Roblox is going to be a big name next year in 2021 as well, especially in the investment front. They have an IPO coming out, an initial public offering, and I'm not giving investment advice here, but I am following that really well. My son and daughter are very much into Roblox, and my son even went to a Roblox camp to learn how to code. And their business model is really interesting. It's software, right? And so anybody can create a game on Roblox, anybody within their game can create upgrades that people can pay for. But they pay through using sort of like the virtual currency within Roblox, which of course you have to pay for to get. And what's really neat is then Roblox, the company, takes a little bit of a commission every time somebody purchases new points or Roblox to then spend on these other games. There are millions of games. There are millions of kids who play every day. It is being used for educational purposes. It's being used for entertainment purposes, and it's grown like crazy. It's been around for a while. And looking at their numbers and their balance sheet and their profit and loss statement, it's like, wow, pretty amazing. But to see firsthand and to actually go to a place where my son went to camp for that, really interesting for sure. Joel says, do you think ClickFunnels, and let's have some conversation about, like, if you have some thoughts or questions about what I might think about certain things like Joel here, do you think ClickFunnels is going to be vital in marketing in 2020? ClickFunnels is a particular program that allows you to create funnels. I think funnels in general are going to be even more important next year. And this is something that's been around for a while, the idea of, okay, we do live launches, throughout the year, but you might want to create some sort of evergreen sequence that allows people to kind of come into a funnel, to then be fed some amazing emails to build trust, to build proof, to crush objections, to then lead into a sale of some kind, and then other emails that then pitch that promotion. One thing that we're doing in the webinar course, which I'm really excited about. And by the way, if you go to, or we have a webinar training. If you get my emails, you'll know that there is a encore webinar training, the second one within a month, actually, because it was so popular the first time, where I'm going to be teaching about webinars. And part of the beauty of webinars is that you can use these webinars in an evergreen-like fashion to continually work for you over time. So I think this idea of building businesses, and there is a lot of software coming out, and that is already available to make that evergreen sequence even more powerful. One of those being Deadline Funnel. We interviewed Jack Bourne for a couple bonus modules and segments that will be injected into that course very shortly here, which I'm really excited about. Bernard says, Pat basically will be screened today. Yes. I saw a funny meme the other day. It was like the face you make when you're getting your temperature checked. And it was like Mike Wazowski, but in a really awkward face, just like leaning forward. Sherry, have to go. May you all have a great day. Thank you all who show up. Nice. Thank you, Sherry, for coming in. I appreciate you. Convertkit, indeed, is the email service provider that I recommend. They have the ability for you to create funnels without the need for anything like ClickFunnels or lead pages, which is really cool. So I highly recommend that. Bill does not mind funnels that have single product at the end of the funnel. When more than one product offered as the funnel narrows, it turns me off. Yeah, I mean, I think understanding it from the perspective of the subscriber is really important. I think that the ones who do it well start with a lead magnet. It goes into an email funnel that then promotes a single product. And then a 30-day break of more content, more value adding, no more pitches. And then after 30 days, boom, you get the next sort of thing that hopefully is related to something that makes sense for you. And if it's just like going down the line of a list of products, then it's not going to work. But if it's like, hey, we found that like the articles that we shared with you about affiliate marketing seem to be ones that you click on, here's a product that might actually help you since we know you're interested in that. And when you can get more into the heads of those who are subscribed, then the better for sure. Journey with Leong. Pat, what do you think big enterprises bring to online e-com that will crush small businesses in 2021 and beyond? I think where big businesses come into play is really getting in front of people through ads. They have a ton of money to spend on ads. And I think, especially with the world that we live in now and everybody online, I think that more and more companies are spending ads. So we have to compete as small businesses to gain attention. And that can be very difficult when it can come to competition with bigger businesses, because they have the money to spend, right, to get in front of people. And that means on Facebook, that means on Google, that means on other platforms. So this is, again, a signal that we need to really build our tribe. And when we build our tribe, it doesn't matter what else the noise is out there. We can then provide that information and support to our own tribe. Now, at the same time, I don't want you to think that you have to have 1 million followers, $1 million, 1 million people follow you or find you in order to be successful. You just need to have that core group of people. And this is exactly why Superfans, I think, is really taking off right now. We've had a lot more conferences want to buy bulk copies of it. It's what I'll be speaking about today at the conference I'm going to be speaking at, which is why I'm dressed up. For those of you who are coming in and you're like, why are you in a suit? We're in the pandemic. Don't you wear sweatpants? Yes, I've worn sweatpants every day since March. This is the first day I'm wearing jeans. My legs are like struggling to breathe right now. I know this. I know this. But yeah, advertising for sure. But again, the way that we get to compete against those bigger name businesses and those big enterprises is we get to connect with our audience on a more personal level. And that's where I want you to focus. And I think that what's going to happen next year is people are going to start to find their favorites. People are going to start to join tribes and join communities. People are going to have their favorite content creator and the person that they go to over and over again for inspiration, for motivation, for education, right? Peasant Uprising says, I saw a Roberto Blake ad while watching a Roberto Blake video. No way. That's funny. Travis says, question, do you think Supercast is something worth implementing early in your podcast, or is it best to wait? Don't want to be greedy. The way that we get around being greedy, Travis, is if we can offer that value in exchange for that money, then it's not greedy. In fact, if you can approach selling with always the idea of this is of convenience for you, this is of service to you, or this is something that is obvious that is here to support you, then there is no worry anymore. So Supercast, for those of you who don't know, Supercast is an amazing tool that my partner Matt and I are really bullish on. It is the ability for you to create a private RSS feed for a podcast that you can charge to get access. You can charge people to get to pay to get access to, and this can be used in many different facets. There is an interview that I did with Jason, the founder of Supercast, on the Smart Passive Income podcast from a couple months ago, which shares some interesting use cases. So there's the obvious use case of an ad-free version, which is of convenience, right? This is why people pay, $4.99 to use an app that they already have, just without the annoying banner ads on there. You can now do this in a podcast. So you have ads on your show. You have separate a ad-free version that is on this very private RSS feed that people can pay to get access to. And it can be a great way to A, support you, the creator, and B, get something back in return, ad-free experience. So that's number one. Number two, you can use it as a bonus feed for those who want to pay. So very similar to Patreon, where for a certain dollar amount per month, you get access to you get access to additional things or other elements within your brand. You can have, for example, interviews with people on your regular feed, and then your 15-minute bonus interviews where you go a little bit deeper and you get a little bit more personal with that person that only live on that feed. So that could be really interesting and exciting as well. What's up, Mubarak? Great to see you here. There's also other interesting use cases for Supercast. For example, I know a lot of people who have online courses who then, they don't charge extra for this, but it is using Supercast. They take all of their online course audio files and they put them into a special RSS feed that then people can get access to after they become a course student. That way a person can actually listen to the course content while on the go without having to download the episodes, but just simply pop in an RSS feed into their feed aggregator or Apple or Google or what have you. So that could be really cool. Thank you, Phyllis. I appreciate you for being here. So those are some interesting things for sure. Supercast, Bill, Supercast. But I do appreciate the super chats, and I know you hooked me up with one already today, so thank you, Uncle Bill. Let's see. With significant increase in remote working, homeschooling content are booming. Homeschooling Academy might be the next wave. I definitely think education is going to be disrupted for sure. It's just been such a struggle for teachers. I think that we were already headed towards some significant change, and this is potentially the catalyst, if you will, that will fast forward the need for a different situation. Now, does this mean virtual learning is always going to be here and that's the new way to educate, and this is how elementary school and high school and college is going to be? No. I don't think that's the case. I think that it'll always get back to the classroom because there's nothing like learning in person. But there could be potentially a hybrid model where we have some virtual learning capabilities and ability to how amazing would it be to, it's hard to say what the ideal school situation would be, but in my opinion, it's not a 5-day-a-week situation. It is maybe every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday and Thursday are meant for actual job shadowing or interning. And while perhaps being there at a job that you're looking to potentially explore, not commit to for life, but just explore at least and get a sense of what that business might be like and learn in real life with context versus from a book and with worksheets. And then coming back in between each sort of internship moment to discuss, to report, to learn. And then while on those jobs, maybe having some sort of virtual component to go along with it could be really interesting. So, that could be really neat for not next year. I don't think we're going to see like a massive shift next year. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of, there's everything from the teachers unions and the teachers, and they need to have a voice with relation to where education is headed. Of course, superintendents and college, high school, school district boards are going to be involved. So it's going to be a slow change. And I think it would have been slower if the pandemic didn't happen, but we were eventually going to get to some sort of new wave, new form of education, new just structure of it, new implementation of it. But I think this is definitely speeding it up for sure. In the meantime, however, for 2021, as we're still in the pandemic here, I definitely think solutions for teachers, solutions for students, solutions for parents related to education are going to be a key factor in 2021 for sure. Wow, I'm late. No worry, Rob. I started 1 hour earlier today because, as you can tell, a little bit dressed up. I'm going to be traveling to downtown San Diego today to speak at an event where there will be no attendees. Actually, there will be thousands of attendees, but they're all going to be watching virtually. And apparently, there's going to be a wall of attendees, which is going to be a sight to see. I'm really, really excited. I wasn't actually going to do any conferences or speaking here at the end of the year, but number one, it's in my hometown. Number two, I need to see this wall of attendees. Proverbial life. Pat, thanks to you and others, I'm almost at 1,000 followers on YouTube. Congratulations, dude. Bruh. Well done on that. Keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. And whatever is working, do more of that. What are your top videos? Do a second wave of them. Prediction. If Biden becomes president, many businesses will have to go out of business. Many more than already has. I think businesses were going to go out of business already. And we're not here to get political, and I know that there's different tax implications and whatnot. I do know that a stimulus is likely coming, which could potentially help businesses survive as we're still in the pandemic here. And that's not that's just a now thing. But I think businesses are going to still struggle. But I think it's those businesses that adopt a lot of things that we talked about today already. That is connections with their audience and learning about how to get online and create content and create some sort of viable long-term options in their business. I think there's going to be, certain kinds of businesses are going to struggle for sure. Everything from movie theaters to brick and mortars, especially the mom and pop shops that don't have an online presence. And even with an online presence, it's going to be more competitive than ever, which is why, again, building community, really honing in on what the pains and problems are of your target audience, and understanding things like ads, understanding e-commerce is going to be way more important than ever for sure. I think we're definitely going to see a wave of content creation next year too, whether you are a business owner or not. I think that we're going to see content creation in the form of more podcasts, in the form of more live streams. Video's obviously always been around for the last 15 years, but I think live video is definitely going to take an interesting sort of not turn, but I think it's just going to be that much more prolific. I think there's so much change happening in education and online learning for both adults and children. AccessStyle, definitely check out AccessStyle. I know the founder and she's amazing, so definitely check that out as far as sort of an online learning tool that you might be able to provide for your own students. Let's see, True Education needs major overhaul. I'm an educator and have wanted it for years. Thank you, Emily. So I love when we get into education conversations because that is a big goal of mine in the later half of my life to be an agent of change there for sure. Cool. Oh no, Stephanie, I'm so sorry to hear that. My mom went into emergency ICU last night with heart issues, getting pacemaker put in probably today. Oh no, Stephanie, I'm so sorry to hear that, but we are here for you. Best prayers and hoping for a speedy recovery from surgery and, you know, things getting back to normal ASAP for you and your mom. And man, what a tough time of year to have that happen. But, you know, blessing in disguise, let's get these things fixed now so that we can enjoy and have a lot more time later, right? So wishing you all the best, Stephanie. I'm so sorry to hear that. Consult the Blind Guy. I received another email to apply for media coordinator of Indigenous Environmental Network. Pat Flynn, do you think I should inquire about accommodations or focus on building my business? You know, I think you should explore what life might look like should you go down that route. This is a game I love to play with myself, which is the DeLorean game. Whenever I have options or decisions or, you know, new opportunities, I go, okay, let's just say this went well. What would that actually look like? Number one, if I don't know what that looks like, I want to know what it looks like, because why am I getting into this if I don't even know what success in this new direction might look like? So let's explore that first. And that way I can play the game of, okay, let's travel 1-2 years into the future and let's see, okay, let's just imagine that this scenario, everything works out perfect. Am I going to be happier, better off, you know, more secure if I were to do that? Or let's go into the other path. Let's go into DeLorean and work on my business. 1 year from now, it's successful. It's doing what I want. Is that going to be, which one would make you happier? Which one is one that you feel would get you up in the morning and excited every day, right? So I just love these thought experiments to help us understand more about the future and our future and how it fits into these decisions that we're making right now. I think most people don't even think about things in that way, and I'm hoping to sort of make that a habit of yours. Emily, I've wanted to start my own school for years. Financial literacy and other practical real-life skills are so needed. Amen to that. Amen to that. Tim says, I think we should always explore our options. We never know what we could pass up, for sure. Love, thank you, Pat Flynn and everyone. It's tough living a few hundred miles away. I'm sure she'll be okay, though. We're here for you. Jonathan, this pandemic has shown us that the traditional way of education isn't the only way. I've interviewed some teachers who are excited by what may be coming. I've also noticed that some students are actually thriving in this kind of situation. But at the same time, there's also students who are really just completely falling apart. I know there's some parents who are falling apart in this new way, especially those who have both parents working, and it's like, yeah, it's a tough situation for sure. But, you know, interestingly enough, there are kids and families that are thriving in this virtual learning environment, right? Question, I left the corporate world a few years ago to help inventors get their products to market. I started giving away all the information for free through Podcast Skillshare and YouTube. I got tired of people mortgaging their homes or maxing out credit cards to hire people to do the work that they can do 90% of their own. My followers still want my team to do the work for them. Yeah, that can, you know, that makes sense because a lot of us don't want to do that heavy lifting. That being said, you know, I think being upfront with people about the risks involved is very important. I know you do that for sure. But in terms of, you know, DIY done with you, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a struggle. I mean, I typically say, and I know Ramit Sethi says this too, when people are thinking about buying his courses, he says, if this course puts you in debt or you're pulling out of retirement to pay for this, you're not allowed in this course. Like, do not buy this course. You need to take care of your debt. You need to take care of what you need to take care of first, and then you can come back and invest in this course to help you even further, right? So some verbiage like that could go a very long way in just helping people understand where you're coming from. That way it is off of your shoulders. I mean, it's not on your shoulders to begin with, but that can help alleviate maybe a little bit of pressure from you for that. You know, it's interesting because I would imagine that this particular niche that you're in is something that's picking up steam right now. A lot of people are taking their ideas and they're actually using this opportunity with time and potentially some extra money to invent and create. So yeah, I mean, I would just get very, 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 very open about maybe even an application process where maybe you do, I don't know, can you even do a credit check or something like that just to make sure? I mean, yes, those are the people who probably need some successful business more than anybody, but at the same time, we don't want to put them at risk, and that puts your name at risk as well. And I think that if you at least say those things up front, it is off of your shoulder. And maybe maybe the lead magnet is some financial help that can happen before a person invests, right? So, hey, here's how you can save up to do something like this in case you want to do it with our team. But at the same time, maybe this might mean, you know, you have a very rigorous application process and only take those who you are comfortable sort of serving and qualifying for that. And then everybody else, it's like, you know what? No, you can't work with us because we know that you can do this on your own. Here's the information to do that, right? Chris says, I feel very lucky that I run my firm out of my house and can be here when the kids are remote learning and my wife can go into her office. That's good for you, Chris. I mean, I'm very, very grateful I have the opportunity to work from home as well. More and more people are doing just that. And my wife is stay-at-home mom. And, you know, the kids, you know, are a little bit older now, so they're a little bit more on their own, which is good as far as being able to take care of themselves. And, you know, we're not changing diapers no more. Hello, people, says Fast Track. Hello. Yo. We always get a surge right before the hour, which is really interesting. We only got 2 minutes left. I have to bail very shortly here because I'm going to be traveling to downtown San Diego today, hence the getup that I'm wearing right now. And I'm going to be speaking in front of a stage of 0 people. But there will be a lot of people watching live, which I'm really excited about. But this is why I'm dressed up. And Samson, what's up? Thank you for being here. Thank you to the moderators in the house, by the way. We had Peasant Uprising in the house. Just Samson. I don't know if Karma was in the house today. I don't think he was. And also K-Walk Comedy, who I don't see here, but I see someone related to her. Kenny is in the house as well. Thank you. Yeah, no diapers. Awesome. Well, we talked about a lot of things 2021 today. Thank you so much for the conversation, for the ideas, and also for hearing me out. And I just want to wish you all the best in 2021. And I cannot wait to chat with you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, which means... How is it Friday already tomorrow? Wow. Have I really used the secret word that many times? I think I got it in every single day, didn't I? So I don't actually need to play a game of Watch Your Mouth. Although, yeah, no, I don't think I do. So we're going to pick a new secret word tomorrow. We're going to give away some prizes. We're going to play some games. And we're going to have some fun. So make sure you come in tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are going to start at... Let's see... Tomorrow, we're going to start at, We're going to start at 8 a.m. Pacific. Actually, you know what? Let's do another early one tomorrow. I kind of liked this time. I know I hate mixing it up and I like to be at usual every day, but I have some calls tomorrow and stuff. A lot of stuff happening. This has actually been a very busy week, and I think it's because everybody's trying to fit everything in before the end of the week here. So, you know, very grateful for you. And we're going to start at the same time early tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Cool. So, hey, chat, thank you so much. I appreciate you today. This was a lot of fun. And come in tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll have some fun. Thanks for the good lucks today, having the stage talk in about 2 hours. So I gotta go. Take care. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and ding that bell so you don't miss any of these videos moving forward. And I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, y'all. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Take care.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream.
Woo!
It's the kind of show
Oh, I think you heard that.
go
Jeff the Ref.
inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Hey, thanks, y'all. Even Amanda, who fell asleep during the chat, but that's okay. I hope everybody has a great day today. Thanks for coming in. Even if you came in late, we started early today. We're going to start early tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to play some games, give away some prizes, have some fun. Thank you so much. Today was awesome, and I look forward to seeing you later. And if I don't see you, happy holidays. Here every day until 365. Peace out, y'all. Much love.
Bruh.
Whoa, kept that on the screen the whole time. My bad. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.